Yeah, I think to make a long story short, in that season, my wife was in the process of dying. She had been diagnosed with terminal cancer many years ago, and she was quickly slipping on us. I was exhausted from about 10 years of that battle, that journey at that time. Our church was just in some tumultuous times, and I was feeling like, I don't know how much longer I can hang on. I think this church deserves a younger pastor who has energy, and I wasn't feeling very young and I wasn't feeling very energetic. One of the things that I was considering was how would I orchestrate my exit from pastoral ministry, just simply because I was exhausted and didn't see any way that I could carry on with the load of ministry and having a reality at home that I faced. I went to Winnipeg for another event. As I was getting ready to leave Toronto, I remembered that there was, Steinbeck's not far from Winnipeg. I should check and see when that next Church Renewal weekend is. And sure enough, it was that weekend that I was going to be in Winnipeg when my flight was done, and got online and booked a hotel room and rented a car and changed my flights and ended up staying the extra day so that I could come down and take in prayer summit there at Southland in the evening. In the midst of the prayer summit, Pastor Ray invited the visiting clergy to come and be prayed for. This group astounded me. They listened to God in prayer, and then they spoke into my life, and they breathed fresh wind into my sails. They renewed my hope for the church. I sat there and just dreamed that if a pastor could teach his church to live this way, then there's hope for the church in Canada. And maybe there's hope for my church. And so I drove away from Steinbeck that Sunday night late and had a conversation with God and just said, Lord, if this is where you want us to head, if this hope that I've seen here is going to happen in our church, then you're going to need to work in me first. And I'm open to that. Okay, we're here to pray, right? So let's stand together. Let's enter his courts with thanksgiving and praise. We'll start with praise and then we'll go to thanksgiving. When I heard about the mentoring, I was a little bit hesitant. I was a little bit fearful of what that might entail. And I think what I was most fearful of was that I had to get over my own pride. That at 56 years of age, I had to admit the fact that I had never learned to listen to God as well as I might have. And bigger than that, as a result, I had never led my people in hearing God as they might. And that was a pretty big thing for me to face and to confess. I think one of the things that I'm starting to see that excites me is I'm starting to see our people as they learn to hear God in prayer. And they're actually hearing him. And then they come and they tell me what God is saying. And there's no greater exhilaration for me than to know that I've helped someone not rely on me, but tap in directly to the one whom I rely on. And so to help people find a way to just relate to God themselves and to hear his voice and to get direction and guidance and counsel, encouragement and comfort from the Holy Spirit and from the Word on their own without me, that's a freeing thing for me. Then I don't have to carry that load of their lives. It makes it way easier to be a pastor when Jesus can carry their load. I brought a team, my staff and my elders and some of their spouses, out to a church renewal weekend about a year and a half later. And that team and I experienced the church renewal weekend, and since then God has been renewing us as a team. He's been renewing us as a team. We're different than we were. We're listening to God in prayer. We're hearing him speak to us, And we're moving with a confidence that we've heard God, together as a staff and also together as a board. We move together now with a confidence that we're hearing God and that we're clear on what He wants us to do and the decisions we're thinking about and praying over. It's been 3 years last month since my first visit to the prayer summit. And as I said at that time, I was planning an exit strategy. And now I'm not planning an exit strategy. That doesn't exist anymore. I figure at 56 years of age, I got 10 or 15 years more tread left on these tires, and I'm gonna just go all out as long as I can, as long as God enables me. The story on Pam has been an ever-evolving story. When she was diagnosed with multiple myeloma 12 and a half years ago, the average lifespan then was 3 to 5 years. We were informed 6 weeks ago that after 12 and a half years in this journey, Pam is in full remission. So we're grateful for that. And people have asked me before, what has Church Renewal done for our church? And my response is, it's not what it's done for the church, it's what Church Renewal has done for me. And God is renewing me. And He's doing that through Church Renewal. And I'm very grateful for that. Deeply thankful. And glad that now I'm starting to see God renewing my church because I humbled myself and allowed Him to renew me first.